Hi, this is Don from GrumpyGeek.com, and this is my long overdue update. About 2 years ago, I made my last update. I was working on dampers, and I was working on building a larger version of this machine that you're looking at. This machine was a prototype from another machine that I built, an advanced version of it, and I liked it, and it worked well, and I was going to make a bigger machine. And I said I was done, and I was going to update, and then nothing. So I did finish the machine. It took me longer than I would have wanted to, but life is like that. And this is that machine, and I was pretty happy with it overall. And I had made plans, and I was going to do all this stuff, and I had another guy call me or contact me about building this machine in a class in Mexico, and he did that, and I think they got it mostly working. I think they ran out of time and had some issues, but that went well. And then I built a machine for a furniture maker not too far from where I live. It was a recommendation from a friend. And I was rushing to get those parts done, and I got them done and delivered, and the man put it together. His name is Paul, by the way, builds furniture. And he wasn't exactly happy with the results. Part of it was that not all my parts were square, at least not perfectly square, because this machine wasn't square because I was rushing. And so I came back and fixed that on my machine, but that didn't help him. But he did a lot of work, and he got it mostly fixed, and he's fairly happy with it, but he made a lot of modifications. And I could take those modifications and come back and fix this machine and say it's done and continue forward. But you know, the problem is that in retrospect, I'm really not happy where I ended up. This machine requires a CNC machine to build, basically. It's fairly complicated. There are a lot of parts. And that wasn't my really original design goal. My design goal was to make a machine that was simple to build, kind of, you know, a bootstrap machine, and this isn't it. It's too complicated. So we're building a larger machine for this friend, Paul, and we're having some issues. We're trying to use cheap parts from the hardware store, and I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I've come up with another design, and I keep working on these smaller machines because that's really my goal. My goal is really not to build these huge machines, but it's a neat challenge, so I am doing that as well. But I came up with this new idea for a bearing design that hopefully is a lot simpler and provides a lot of the attributes that Paul is looking for, which is adjustability and, of course, you know, being rigid and square. So I'm going to show you what I've done and see what you think about it, I guess. So this is the new machine prototype, and we're going to go ahead and show the slidey slide because everyone loves the slidey slide. So it rolls well, and it is completely solid. I'm lifting here, and there is no lift, there's no clicking. Same thing with this one, there's no lift and it's no clicking, but it moves well. I mean, I can do that and it goes, you know, a little bit of effort and it moves fairly easily. This moves ridiculously easily because there's some mass behind it. And then there's the Z that I built. We'll get to that in a minute. So this bearing design is neat because, for one, it rides on a single rail. This is a 1-inch square tube that is set into a V-groove into, at the moment, a 2x4, but it's probably not the ideal material. I'll do something else in the future, but this is just a prototype. And then I have these two bolts down here that allow me to tension it to the rail. And that's, I think, where the magic is, as far as I'm concerned, is that tensioning is adjustable. You can completely remove the parts. In fact, let me go ahead and show this to you. So, you know, this is my Y carriage, and it's just a board with a hole in it, and it has two of these bearings on it. These bearings are just two pieces of angle. This one is built like a standard skate bearing, with, you know, you would see on like Build Your CNC's early machines. And then what I've done is I've taken and I've put a 5/16 rod instead of a bolt here and extend it out so that I can then put this piece on that provides the tensioning, and then just a bolt and washer here so I can tighten it up and squeeze. So my original prototype for that was this. Let me go ahead and put this back on. This way. Yes, this way. So that's that. And this is my original prototype. I made the rail first, see that I can make it, and then I made this. And again, it's just standard skate rail, with another one below it, which is built just like the skate rail, except that you drill the hole larger and leave these bearings off. And this one was built with bolts to kind of let me adjust it to the right width, and it worked. And I'll go ahead and put that on and show you. There we go, voila, worked. And I went and made a full set for this prototype, and I made it with these bolts. In fact, you can see on, I don't know if you can't see, but there are holes in the bottom, and I was going to use bolts and to adjust it. And I started putting it together, and oh my God, was it a pain. So at that point I was like, well, maybe this isn't going to work. And then I thought about it and said, well, what if I use something else to provide that space? And what I ended up doing is just cutting a piece of wood that takes the place of the bolts. I got the original measurement off this. That's where it needs to be. Cut this piece. I made the bearing exactly the same other than that. These are longer because they're not really the same prototype, but there you go, they work. And I have another one here. Grab another rail. Here. And now they're both adjusted. Well, yeah, they're both adjusted. Let's be a little rubbing on the wood down the bottom. Prototypes. So you get them on here, and because they're opposing, because if you look, that'll come off. But once you oppose them and you tie it together with a piece of wood, and you basically bolt this down, they don't come off. Well, that's not very good, but they're bigger. So there you go. And they lock each other down. And then you can make your adjustments. Again, if you need to loosen or tighten this, you just take a wrench, tighten this or loosen this up, and it works really well. And I'll go ahead and show you my Z now. And so Z's are usually the hardest part to make on a CNC machine. They give a lot of people a lot of problems. I considered just buying one outright, and I could still do that. But I thought I would try this. I came up with, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Routzilla machine, but it kind of uses a box. And I thought, well, I could use a box and that would provide a lot of stability. And I was going to actually use two of these, but I put one of these together and tightened it up, and this is tighter than these. And these move like that. This I have tightened down so that it's snug, but it moves plenty easily enough. And once I slap a 3-pound or 6-pound router on this, that'll be a bigger issue than the rails being a little bit tight. But I can loosen them up if I need to. But importantly, there is zero movement. And I was like, wow, I thought this might slide off. I thought it might have issues once I put it like this. In fact, let me go ahead and put it like that. Forward. Slide. Slide. So this is really where my prototyping stands. I'm in the process of making motor mounts and bearing mounts to finish it up. I'm going to transfer all the screws and motors from the last machine onto this machine and see where it goes. And anyway, that's my update. And if you want to leave me comments, please, you can do it on my YouTube page or the Google Plus account that's attached to that. Or wander over to my website, grumpygeek.com, and I should post this with an update there. I think I'm going to post it on YouTube first. But please feel free to comment. If you're interested in making these, I need more detail. I can give you that. I don't have the plans drawn up yet. I'm kind of prototyping on the fly. I have a lot more tools than I started out with, so it makes it a lot easier. But anyways, I'm excited about this machine. Curious to see what other people think, and please let me know what you think. Give me some comments, give me some feedback, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.